Evening, everyone. It's Thursday night. We're back with another Football Manager stream. Well, last time the unbeaten run ended. 41 games in the league without loss, and we finally gave it up. Unfortunately, Schalke did manage to beat us 1-0 with their only shot on target of the game. We also had a man sent off quite late on. There was nothing we could do to get back into it. So the unbeaten streak is over, but we're going to start again. We are going to build another one. We're still very much top of the league. We're still, we've qualified for the round of 16 in Champions League, finishing 6th or 7th in the league phase. We're still going to win some titles this year, so let's get on with it, shall we? Well, let's just have a look at a quick recap of the last streams, shall we? I think we picked up with Freiburg. We basically won every game. 2-0, 4-0, 7-2, 4-1, 2-0, 5-0. We were smashing anyone who came in front of us. And then out of nowhere, we lost against Schalke. That just threw itself in there. Football Manager doing Football Manager things. We are still top of the Bundesliga, even if it's only just. We're now 1 point ahead of Bayern Munich after they've matched us match for match. And in fact, I think they won all of theirs. I mean, lots of green on theirs. Their last loss to Hertha, obviously. So things a little bit tighter there. But as I say, we did qualify. It wasn't even 6th or 7th. We qualified in 8th. We scraped into the round of 16. But hopefully it means that we avoid some of those really tricky ties. I mean, PSG and Man United are in there. As are Man City. Wow. Okay, Real Madrid finished 21st. Okay, there's some big clubs that we are going. One of these, we're going to play one of them. Certain of it. PSG, Man United, Real Madrid. We are definitely getting one of those in the round of 16. I'm convinced of it already. Right, I don't think there's any changes we can make here. Got to keep Karim because he's homegrown in nation. Taking him out won't actually solve anything. That's it. Right, let's see if Gabri Vega gets upset again. Oh, God, Vega. Come on, we had this talk 2 weeks ago. Let's just move on past it. Okay, right, looks like we're probably going to have to sell Vega. That's fine. All right, quarter-final draw time. Like Bayern Munich and Dortmund, the bigger teams there. I'm only really worried about Bayern Munich. I'd be quite happy with anyone else. And it is us versus, right, Munich are still in it. Frankfurt, okay, that's fine. We can win that. Let's go and beat Gladbach. 6'4". He's 6'4". He just heads the ball. That's all I want him to do. That's why he's there. You can have a smaller ball playing defender alongside them, but you just need one big lump of a defender. Good ball through for Margraf. Can he cut it back for someone in the middle? It's Richter who, well, I think Richter had a shot there. Was that Richter? I thought it might have been Hardy, actually. Who did he cut that back for, Margraf? It was Richter, wasn't it? Yeah. He's definitely had a shot. And Burkholt's just got in the way. Seen it go flashing wide and just, I mean, he's put his body on the line there. And it's all Hertha at the moment. Oliveira into Richter. I think he was onside there. I don't see a problem with that goal. There we go. That's 3-0. And once again, whack it across to the big guy. Richter's in the middle to take advantage of that ball coming back across the face of goal. It's 3-0. And any worries I had about the loss to Schalke preceding a complete tumble in form have gone. There are no fears anymore. Carney out there reacting quite well to being moved about over the last couple of seasons. I've played him at defensive midfield, I've played him at centre back, and this season he's mostly been a right back for me. That wasn't a penalty, it wasn't inside the box. But he's adapted well to pretty much every challenge I've thrown at him. When I turned up, he was pretty much the best player at the club. We've improved the club around him. He is still a very good player. But he can play in a number of positions. He's a very useful player to have. And it's Oliveira again. Now, referee's determined to try and ruin our party here. But he can't. Even VAR can't help him cheat us out of a second Ruben Oliveira goal. Look at. But I can be a little bit more experimental with the tactics there. This one, I'm going for success. I'm going for the tactics of work. It's going to be a 4-2-3-1. It's going to be a 4-3-3. It's going to be a 4-2-4, which I've proven beats a 4-4-2. But in the next save, we'll be a bit more experimental. I definitely want a 5 at the back. I do love a 5-3-2. And I know in certain circles that makes me a bit of a pervert, and I accept that. But I do love a 5-3-2 in Football Manager. Because one of the things I think they did really well, actually, is when they introduced roles and duties. It made formations feel far less flat. And I remember the days of sliders and player instructions being the most important thing, and you'd have to create a deep lying playmaker out of these sliders. Yeah, like a proper 4-3-3. Two wide strikers, genuine sort of inside outside forwards who don't come back and defend it quite as much. Rather than attacking midfield right, attacking midfield left, it's a forward left, forward right. They used to have that in much older versions of FM. I've also found that I'm being bombarded with ads from accounts that have their blue ticks, they're verified, but they're inevitably some sort of scam. So Twitter is now at the stage where it is actively promoting and accepting money from scam pages, and that's incredible to me. Is this your first Champions League in 200 years of football? Never say that. Not fair. With 20 minutes or so, 1 sec. Okay. Oh, you're going to be creating an anti Gillingham TikTok, aren't you? Running across the box, putting a shot over the bar, and then running into the box there with the ball and forcing the keeper into a save. He's got that thing about him. He's got that. I don't want to say X factor because that's a stupid term, but he's got that something about him. Man United are just a shit version of Man City anyway. Kickoff was delayed by, I think it was about half an hour in the end, because there was so much traffic from all of the Just Stop Oil protests that our team coach could not get to the stadium. And as a result, they had to walk the last 1.5 miles, 2 miles, I think it was, to get to Brentford. So, yeah, they turned up with pretty much no warm-up. They had like 10-15 minute warm-up and then had to go out there and play. We conceded within 3 minutes. And when you concede within 3 minutes against a Premier League team, as a League Two team, especially one that was in the position we were in, pretty much bottom of the league at that point, at that stage of the season, where you're starting to think things are going absolutely horrendously. I was expecting 6-7. I expected Ivan Toney to smash us. I thought he'd score 3 or 4 past us. I'm glad I didn't put a bet on it. And then we just dug in. And the fans were incredible. 2,000 of us just singing the whole game through. We weren't there for a win. We weren't there for any expectation. We were just there. We were there for a party. It was a day out. And the limbs when that equaliser went in, incredible. Surely car stopping in one area is what even worse than cars driving. Let's face it, people don't turn off their engine when stuck in traffic. Of course not. Slow traffic. It's the sitting at traffic lights. If you want things to be more efficient and to be less polluting, you need to try to make it easier for traffic to pass through, not slow it down. Yeah, cool. Castleford play St Helens. Well, St Helens is my team, Scraps. So, bit of a rivalry there going tomorrow. Millions upon billions in Asia, which isn't what they don't care about the climate and all that jazz, which can't afford to care about it, as they need to feed their families. Yeah, and this is it. This is it. You know, a lot of pollution now comes from India and China. They're massive industrial countries. That's where our efforts should be focused. And there is a case for saying that as industrialized, wealthy nations, we've got our part to play in that because we outsource a lot of our industrialism to them. So we've got our part to play in it. It's a very different conversation on Tuesday night, but mental health, the way we feel about things, the way we process things, I think we're much more open to the ideas that as human beings we are fallible and our mental health is not perfect. So it's a tough one. It is a tough one. I feel like kids need to understand about it, but I just think the parents should talk to them about it, not the school. Scraps, if parents did talk to their children about these sorts of subjects regularly, and I mean on a widespread basis, I don't think the schools would need to. I'll let me put my save command in the chat for you, not to try and clear the chat there, but actually just to catch you up on where we are. So we started unemployed via Sweden and Scotland. We made our way to Hertha, Berlin, where we are in the middle of a very very real challenge for the title. Bayern Munich have won the German league 20 years in a row, and we are trying to put a stop to that. Certain portions of the media and social media who will jump on this stuff and try and make a mountain out of a molehill. But I thought it was a bit fake news, that one. So what's the situation at the top of the Super League then? Are Warriors that close to the top? Right, we're just going to take a break from Rugby League chat to talk about the fact we are in the round of 16 for the Champions League and it is draw time. We want Celta Vigo, I think, or Mainz. We are a seeded team. We finished 8th in the league phase. Mainz, Celta Vigo. I mean, Porto, Benfica, Lazio. Anyone but the two Manchester teams and PSG, I think we can beat. So let's see who we end up with. Okay, that's good. Man City are out of the pot. Give me Porto. Yes, Porto. Excellent. Okay, we may have a chance of a quarter-final here. Wasn't Haaland's a release clause, though? Don't worry, as the chant goes, we're ruining football and we don't care. I mean, yeah. The worry, though, has got to be at some point that your Emirati owners get bored or something happens to dry up that money, and then where do they leave you? It was brought in to try to stop that from happening by making sure that any income, any spend was from earned income as opposed to someone just laying a pile of money on a table and saying, go and spend it and buy me a title. I get that. That's not bad. But the problem is, one of the impacts of that is it means that the entrenched rich teams were forever going to stay at the top under FFP. And we've just absolutely stuffed this up, haven't we? Don't think that ref's giving that offside. Not unless he's a good man. Are you a good man? Oh, you are a good man. Right, we're gonna waste time now. So yeah, to come back to my point, unless those entrenched teams were always going to stay at the top because they'll always be in the Champions League, they'll always get more money. It would just have ended up with the same teams winning the league year after year after year after year. Absolute snooze fest. So a bit of disruption isn't a bad thing, but my problem is that the more you get of this, the more of these teams being bought by super rich owners, the less football becomes about the fans. And it's already bad enough as it is. Ever since the Premier League era came in, Premier League clubs do not care about their fans one way or another. They don't. Yeah, 90s, noughties, and some early 10s indie music is where and that's where I say the peak. Linkin Park, absolute favourites. And Hincapié has just scored against us. We sold him as soon as we turned up. 25,000 days at a single club is pretty impressive. And a 65% win percentage over all that time. That's damned fine work, sir. Damned fine work. And you're in charge of Albania as well. Are you going to win a World Cup with Albania? Why has Staines next to? Probably going to lose that too. Why is proper in the mud? Well, if me and my Saints team can do you a favour, I'm all for it. Was Margraf offside there? I think he might have been. 1987. Oh God. Why did you have to add that last line, Ashwin? I wasn't even born. I was. Okay, I was. I was 3. I was only 3, but I was born. I loved Blur, and I loved Oasis, but Linkin Park is absolutely top, mate. Linkin Park. Yeah, I definitely expected Leeds to be further up the table than they ended up, and we are not doing particularly well here. We're going to go attacking. Well, if we score here, I'm going to might change my mind. We've scored here. It's Oliveira again. It's my big 6'4" Portuguese boy. He's a great person. I like that London geezer. I'm a geezer in it. That's got to be a penalty. Go on, give it, ref. Give it. In a geezer accent. All right, pal, how you doing? All right, pal. How you doing? Yeah, have a good one, mate. Go and chill. You can't give a penalty for that, ref. Did you not see the ball fly back across the pitch? You obviously got the ball. Yeah, probably, yeah, Series 3 came out and said, oh, he did it. Did it. I didn't know that. All right, that one will have to go on the watch list. And Phil Mitchell say that, to be fair, I don't watch EastEnders. I'm not 70. Neither am I. I don't watch EastEnders. The only soap I know of is when I'm in the shower. And long may it stay that way, Duck, because God knows no one else wants it. Emmerdale is full of people from Yorkshire, so it's hard to watch. Oh, I've got Bayern Munich. Wow. I'd have rather have had that in the final, but we'll just have to do it the hard way. Even though Cockney is really restricted to certain parts of East London, moved up in 2016. Do you know, I do tend to find as well Southern people adopt other accents quite quickly. I mean, it might just be me and how I see it. We are currently in the 2031-32 season. Relentless. We've done the tour. We've done the tour of Northern Europe. Well, I say the tour. We did 2 Swedish teams. We did 2 Scottish teams. And that took us, about 10 years. Well, what, 7, 8 years to get to Hertha. And we are not going to get through easily in this one, are we? Porto. Every time I think we're getting ahead, Porto will peg us back. But in the first leg, they were the ones going ahead, being the working class kid in the grammar school. But definitely felt a bit odd one out. So yeah, I struggled at school making friends and whatnot. I did have friends, I wasn't entirely alone, but didn't make many friends. But I miss not having the responsibility that you get when you're an adult. It's very difficult, I think, when you're at that age to appreciate it. But genuinely, not having that responsibility is a great thing. Going to be at 11:30. I'm getting indigestion for you, Scraps. And yeah, doing something very similar. Like you'd just be waiting at the window for the delivery man to come up the road. Just saying I was in college, not work, because you asked if I knew him from work. Oh no, I get that. No, I did get that. Don't worry. It did take me a moment to connect the dots there, though, Warrior. It really did. But no, I got that. There's going to be difference tactically, like AI wise, between PlayStation and PC. Yeah, Scraps, go get your. I mean, what do we call this at this time of night? Supper. And ladies and gentlemen, we have made it through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League with Hertha. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, as it always has been. I hope to see as many as you back for Saturday night stream as possible. Scraps will be there with a quiz, and if I'm feeling in the mood, I might even crack open a couple of beers. So come join us Saturday night, 9:30. We'll go through to 1:30 a.m. And yeah, thanks for all the new follows. Relentless, thank you very much for the raid. Thank you for the follow. Warrior, thank you very much for the follow. And most of all, Scraps, thank you incredibly for that prime, for that sub. That's amazing. No one's under any obligation to spend any money with me, but I always appreciate it when you do. So thanks very much, guys. And I'll see you on Saturday night.